Welcome to my presentation about Oppositional Defiance Disorder, ODD, by Marcello Monterosa. Oppositional Defiance Disorder, ODD, is a condition usually diagnosed in childhood. It's characterized by a pattern of chronic negative, defiant, disobedient, and hostile behavior towards authority figures. Some of the facts found in the scientific community suggest that ODD is diagnosed in infancy or adolescence. It's a predominant condition in mental health and community clinics. It has a high degree of impairment and is more prevalent among youths from families of low socioeconomic status. In this diagram, we can appreciate different conditions. Some of them are preceding other conditions. Other circles represent possible causes, but still without a very clear conclusion. First of all, the circle that appears in red, that's the one we're going to focus our attention. ODD, which is the title of my presentation, Oppositional Defiance Disorder, precedes the conduct disorder, which in turn precedes the antisocial personality disorder. Now we're not going to talk about those, but we're going to focus on ODD. Now ODD is definitely preceded, or the cause of ODD has to do with the presence of ADHD. And if you can see this, the dotted lines or the dotted arrows, those are conditions that actually hasten the onset or worsen the severity of conduct disorder in this case, or even depression in the presence of ADHD, and in the case of depression, ODD. For the rest of the presentation, we're going to mention or study different teaching strategies that teachers used and research recommends to be used with children with ODD. Okay, the first strategy we're going to talk about is a very particular one. It is definitely counterintuitive for some of us, but it has been found to be a really effective one. Okay, we're going to be studying our strategies in the form of testimonies. Avoid power struggles. Avoiding power struggles is one of the main strategies that we can use, okay, to help our children. Pick your battles. The sample problem that I chose for this slide is: a student of yours corrects you all the time, whether you are wrong or not. What's the solution? The solution is, okay, you can answer okay, let's double check that. Okay? The end scenarios could be as following: you're wrong, which the teacher, we as a teacher, wrong. Well, let's just correct the error. If the student is wrong, silently let him figure it out. And teacher Chris W. gave us this slide. Okay, now we're going to cover another strategy, and this one is courtesy of teacher Brandy. Be consistent. It's very important to repeat your trigger words, including consequences. The problem this time is, okay, your student is trying to argue. What's the best solution? Okay, you have 3 different trigger words, okay, that should be familiar already for the child. You can say not now, you can say later, or fix the issue. Now the end scenarios could be 2. Again, either the student complies, or second option is he has the ability to step aside to calm himself down in a previously designated area. Okay, this time we have a different scenario, okay, different problem. The strategy we're going to study on this slide is give them choices. And this slide was prepared courtesy of teacher Holly. She says, state your choices. Okay? So the problem is that your student doesn't want to follow any of your choices, and on top of that, he or she is trying to argue. Alright? So you have some solutions. The solution pertinent to this strategy is, first, not to rush your student. Secondly, don't engage. Okay? And thirdly, repeat your choices and simply walk away. The end scenarios. 1 is the student makes his choice. Okay? The student complies. It's great. Second, student won't make his choice. Therefore, he or she cannot participate in his or her favorite activity. I hope you liked the first 3 strategies along with definition of ODD. Now let's go back and study another 3 strategies. Okay, here's another strategy. As you can see by the look on this kid's face, you know, he is frustrated for something. Okay? Maybe he has been outside and all of a sudden he just can't take it anymore. Now, this strategy says give them space to rest. Okay? The objective of this strategy is to calm down. Okay? The student needs to rethink their choices. A good suggestion, okay, for us teachers is put out books, coloring books, Lego bricks, etc. Okay, We can use our imagination. What exactly they like, let's just put it out there, make it available for them. Teacher Toby says, often immediately after activities with a lot of stimulation, these kids need a safe space to calm down. Let them decide if and when they need to excuse themselves. Okay, let's take a look at this next strategy. Positive reinforcement and appropriate rewards need to be used. That is imperative. Positive reinforcement, and we can get ideas, out there. There are plenty of great ideas how to use positive reinforcement. But the definition of positive reinforcement, and this is to put it into very simple terms, is something that is earned when our students promptly do as they're asked. Instead of threatening to take away something when they defy, okay? So this is very important. Appropriate rewards, on the other hand, should not be perceived as manipulation. Okay, so we have to be very careful how to do this. Now, I have an example. The example is, and this is when teacher Erica is using a point system, okay, with option A and B. And so if the student does both, okay, A and B, he or she earns points for an incentive, which often is an iPad during the last 15 minutes of class. Pretty simple, but very effective. Now, the same teacher tells us, find an interest and use that to your advantage. This last strategy is super important. First of all, everything we do as human beings can be traced to one thing, and that is to the personal connection. So make personal connections with your students, your ODD students. The objective is to find the root of the behavior. We need to know exactly what's going on, and the suggestion this time is by teacher Kendra, is to include them. If you develop a discipline system, which needs to be developed, we need to abide by a system of government inside the classroom. But those goals that need to be set can be decided together. What the consequences will be, and especially if they don't meet the goal or if they don't abide by the rules. Okay, so Kendra tells us, find out what they are interested in and have conversations on their level during breaks. Very simple, but so important. Lastly, just to make a summary of everything that we have spoke about on this presentation, we also conclude that students are important. Their condition, ODD, can be managed. ODD can be reversed. As teachers, or as special education teachers, we need to give support to our students. There are testimonies of teachers who the majority of their students have this disorder. And it's not easy to do that. However, they have been able to help their students by making personal connections, by give them choices, by avoiding power struggles, okay, by repeating through trigger words. They state the consequences, and the student ultimately has to decide what to do. Am I going to go with choice A, or choice B? Or if a student wants to do everything right, okay, why not? Why can't we come up with a system of rewards, positive reinforcement, something very powerful? So we, as special education teachers, we need to dress ourselves, with all these strategies, with all this knowledge, and for the sake of our students. Okay, because one day, they will be graduating from high school. Many of them will go to college. We want to see them, one day passing by. Maybe they will write an email or a letter to us. Maybe they will even visit our classroom, and what a joy to see one of those students that had, when they were young, this oppositional defiant disorder, now converted into a productive adult. Well, this is all. Thank you so much for watching.